Welcome back to another episode of Uncropped. It's been a while. I know it's been a chaotic time where I'm busy and just lots been going on over here. But today we're talking about a film that I actually forgot that I had not done yet. So I'm going to talk about a film that I made I think it was a couple of years ago now, called Journey to Film, and it's a kind of documentary type. What's the word for it? I don't even know. It's like a documentary type film that I made about myself and my journey to film, as it's called. So it's, I believe, a 13-minute film. Let me pull it up real quick just to make sure I have the right estimate and I'm thinking about the right thing, because there are so many films that are on my list right next to me. 7 months later, Journey. Where's Journey? Where is it? There it is. 13 minutes and 13 seconds, coincidentally. So it's going to be a very interesting experience looking back on this. I uploaded this in April of 2021. So it's been a couple years now. I'm gonna take notes on it and criticize and praise it. And I think I just watched this like a month ago, just like because I happened to be just into it. Part of me wants to just like stop as I want to and like watch it with you guys, but you guys would have to be in sync with me, so it's tough. So I'm gonna watch it and go just write down my thoughts. So I will be back, and if you guys want to use the link in the description of this episode, use that to follow along and watch with me, and I'll be right back in a minute to go over it with you. Okay, I'm back. I just watched Journey to Film all the way through, which I always forget how long that film is because it felt like it wasn't that long. Fun fact about me, I don't know what the heck it is, but whenever I start recording a podcast, I start yawning like crazy. Don't know what it is. I just yawn like crazy. I'm not tired. It's 6:30 p.m. and I'm not like falling asleep. I don't yawn until I click the record button. As soon as I do, I start yawning. That was a perfect example. So if you hear long pauses like that, that's most likely what it is, and you absolutely can make fun of me for it in the future. Okay, Journey to Film. It's a 13-minute and 13-second film talking about my journey to realizing that I want to make films with my life and want to do photography and want to be able to be creative in that way. Just going to go through my notes. I had quite a few, which is good because it gives me stuff to talk about. It's probably going to be a longer episode today, which is totally fine to me. I hope you guys enjoy it regardless. So let's go into my notes. So my first thing is that I have an interesting framing on the couch interview. It's not quite rule of thirds, but it's almost there. I don't know. It's interesting. So that got me confused for a minute there. I do love the B-roll of filming Radiodrome, where Dylan's using the Osmo and are going across. I have the camera focused on the screen, and you have Piper in the background being the actress that she was for Radiodrome. It was really fun. That whole process and seeing the B-roll really brought that back, which was nice. And then I said some really interesting moments, as this was when my mental health was not at the best point because I was in the stress of college. I had a lot of anxiety going on, and then it was really interesting to look back and be like, wow, I really didn't handle that well, or handled that really well for the scenario I was in, or you can hear it in my voice sometimes in some of these clips. You can hear the fact that I was not doing the best, and I'm really good at noticing it, obviously, because I know how I am, in a sense. So that was interesting. And then all I wrote down after that was, oh goodness, young Michael. My reasoning is, and as I say in the film, I despise young Michael in the sense where, yes, I was an adorable child as like a 4-year-old, whatever. But as a high schooler, I was so self-centered, egotistical. I made films just to get attention, all that kind of stuff. It just really bugs me. But like I said in the film, I think, there's a quote that I heard that says, once you've reached the point where you don't like who you were who you were a while back or something like that, you realize that you've grown, which is crazy. And then it really puts into perspective, because like, I despise high school me. I'm sorry. I know obviously I have great people and memories from high school, and I love the people and the memories still. I just hate how I acted. So, and I also noticed looking at the B-roll, there was so much more motivation internally for myself to make more daily content back then, because I felt like I saw people every day that would watch my stuff, so they would be like, oh, what's next, blah, 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 making fun of me in a way. But at the same time, it still made me want to make more. So now I've really set it up in a sense where the only person I'm making films for is me. That's all I need to make films for. I just need to make it for me and do what I want. And that's one of the big things I've learned in college through all of my experiences. It's to do life for you. That's like the number one thing I've learned. Going to the transition, there's a transition from high school to Dublin Lake, where it like pans over to a shot of Dylan and then a shot of my car, and it says like 3 years after high school. It was like March something. I love that transition so much. There are some times where I'm like so proud of myself for doing something. Then I just said after that, funny old videos. Oh, I'm assuming it's talking about like the old like sledding videos, all that kind of stuff. Me, just like my high school stuff. And then after that I said, why did I make the creative decision to make the interview in black and white? I don't remember, but it may have been to keep attention on the story as opposed to the visuals of like me in the interview. I think that's what it was. I think it was an interesting decision in the sense where, again, I was trying to put attention on the story itself and not the background or the wall color or my clothes or whatever. I just wanted to make sure that I was telling the story, and the story was the main part of the film. I remember I asked a couple people about that when I was making the film, and that was a creative decision that I was like, should I do this? Should I not? What's going on? So that was interesting. And then I have a comment that says, ugh, the Green Man video. That's it. That was a funny video. I'm super embarrassed about it to this day, though, because I just went around to random places in the high school, and people knew, obviously, it was me, but it was very embarrassing. Also, I didn't realize until looking back at the video how overall exposing those suits are, and it's not not something I like keeping up online. transitions between time frames are great, I say. I think we went from like a high school to like sophomore year or something. It'd be nice if I could stop yawning. Cinematic jar shot. That's one of my favorite shots that I've ever done. It was literally just a test shot. I was testing like a lens or something on my camera, and I just recorded for a few seconds, and Dylan was like, just don't get my face, because I wasn't going to use it anyway, but it was an amazing shot, and I was like, I'm going to use it. And I should have done right after that, I should have split up when I'm describing myself as energetic and self-centered. I really could have used B-roll of old vlogs or videos and like put in like little clips of that in between those words to really like get the description on screen and visually into the viewer's head. So that was a creative decision I think I could have done better on. I was not the best at hiding cuts, especially in the interview. And also it's funny that Piper and Dylan were watching me during the interview and they were recording me, so everything I said I was kind of like directing towards them, because Piper knew me in high school, especially the high school stuff. She knew me in high school, and then Dylan knew me from freshman year in college on, so they know a lot about me overall. So if I ever, they have a lot of blackmail material on my life. No, I'm kidding. But no, they really, they know me the best. And it was interesting that they were there with me interviewing, because I felt a lot better about doing the interview than if I was just going to be doing it with a couple of random people. You can see really significant moments where I'm looking to the right. If you're looking at the screen, I'm looking to the right. Piper was sitting over on the right, right next to the camera, and Dylan was on the left. So she was able to like hear everything I was saying and monitoring that, and it was kind of funny because when I was talking about high school, I was really like thinking about her because I knew her all throughout. I started to know her better in senior year of high school, but we knew each other. We knew of each other before then, so it was kind of interesting because I know that she remembers how I was in high school. It says, weird to have a random clip of life is a marketing strategy. So I did this tiny little thing for like TikTok or whatever, where I talk about life being a marketing strategy, how you like advertise the people with the most money, the best cars, the most subscribers, viewers, all that kind of stuff to make people want to strive to be like that. People with yachts and people with big boats and people with a million different things in the world, and they don't have a care, and they're just rich. Life is a marketing strategy, and they market to get you to want to be like those people with the Ferraris and the Lamborghinis and all that kind of stuff. The reasoning why is because if you have those things, you are what people look up to. And people make it seem like that's everything you want in the world, which it's great to have someone look up to you, but at the same time, you don't need a Ferrari, Lamborghini, a yacht, a mansion, a penthouse, or a giant. You need to be everything in the world to be someone to look up to. You can be someone to look up to just by being a kind, respectful human being and helping people and just being you. That's one thing I've learned is when I was in high school, I was striving to be one of those people that had millions of subscribers on YouTube, making all the content that everyone else did. So through my experiences, especially in college, I learned that I don't need to strive to be like everyone else. I just need to strive to be the best version of me that I can be. So I thought it was weird to have that random clip from that talking point. It was a completely different thing. I recorded it like a year and a half earlier. But I do have a good point. Like I was talking about how like, oh, in high school, if you didn't have Snapchat, you weren't cool, and everyone wanted to be cool. So that's why I created a Snapchat, because I wanted to be cool. I wanted to be able to relate to everybody and do all that kind of stuff. So I brought up a good point. I just didn't think it had a place in the film, really. And overall, it did take a lot to look back and criticize myself making this film, because I made this film and I was like, so many mistakes I made in my life, or going back and like, I didn't like this aspect of myself, blah, 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 blah. And I know it's really harsh to see from the outside. If you're like my friend and you see me criticizing myself like this, yeah, I know it sounds harsh, but from the people I know, is we're all doing that internally, and this is just the one time where I'm expressing it externally, because my thought process is I expressed all of the chaos and how I was as a high schooler externally, right? I expressed that I wanted views, I wanted to do that kind of stuff, in the sense where I wanted to just be popular, get attention, and do all that kind of stuff. So what's wrong with expressing your current feelings on a past version of yourself externally as well? That's my thought process. And it's kind of wholesome to look back and realize how you were as a human in the past. Because to me, like, I know it sounds weird, but it felt really good to make this film and get out the emotions that I'd been holding in about, like, yeah, I hated myself as a high schooler. Well, looking back, yeah. It felt good to get it out of my head and just onto a video, whether it be seen by hundreds of people or by like 5, I don't care. But it was honestly therapeutic to make this film. I did kind of cut myself off editing-wise going into sophomore year chapter. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but I did it. And there was a lot of hand talking, especially towards this like middle section of the film. And then the opening up chapter, which was completely differently filmed. Terrible lighting, terrible framing, reflection in the glasses, all the kind of stuff. Yes, it was scripted. It was the only way I could get my thoughts out. And honestly, I'm fine with it. That's like the one thing where I really needed to get my thoughts out. And that's like the one thing that I held back from my interview when Dylan and Piper were helping me film, was because I didn't want them to feel awkward that I was talking about that kind of stuff in front of them. So I really didn't talk about that stuff. I skimmed over it, as you saw in the interview. So I did a separate version when I was like alone, and I don't know. I don't know if I like how it came out or if I wish I had done it with the regular interview, but I don't know. I did really open up about my anxiety in that part, and I was really emotional when I recorded that part, in particular the opening up section when I was in my room talking alone. I think I had written that like very like the night before, and I was like, I need to record this and make this part of the film I'm already making. So I did really open up about like anxiety and that kind of stuff and the experiences I had, which I'm proud of myself for doing. And then as soon as we cut away from that, I just casually go on a rant about the world and like COVID and everything that we had to deal with at that time, which was it was funny to me, but at the same time it's like, it's really true. So, you know, like, if you know me well enough, you know that I try to deal with things in comedy. Words are hard. I try to deal with things in a comedic sense, which is fine. It's just my mini comedic rant around COVID and just the chaos going on in 2020 and 2021. It's just interesting to listen to again. And then there's a random clip of me kicking the bottle. That's more of me handling dark stuff with comedy. I put that in there for comedy. And then at the end, it might be one of the first times I dropped an F-bomb on video that I've posted, but it was a powerful one. I literally remember asking my friends, do I keep the F-bomb in? Do I get rid of it? What do I do? And it was almost unanimous, keep it in, because it was powerful. Because it was my real emotions. And that's all I got. I hope you guys enjoyed it in this podcast episode. This was one of my most intense films that I've made, in the sense where I put a lot of effort into it. I think I worked on this for at least a month, so I was stressed out about it. But it came out pretty well, so I'm pretty happy about it, and yeah. So thank you guys for watching. As you guys may be able to tell, I'm not on a certain schedule with these episodes of Uncropped. I will post when I can. A lot's going on in the next couple of months, so I will post when I can, and we'll talk soon. So thank you guys for listening, and have a great day. See you next time on Uncropped. Bye.